Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality, yeah, keep your ears open for this one. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Rebecca L. Norrington, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, new listeners. You know, I have listeners in different countries all over the world, and so I just want to take a deep breath and be very, very grateful for this opportunity. Today's topic is happiness in Valentine's Day. And before I go on with that, I want to say that this topic is specific to the United States. And that's only because I was born and raised in the United States. So I don't know what any other countries do on Valentine's Day. I'm not sure if they're celebrated or not. This topic today is specific to the United States. And before I get to today's topic, let me do a little business. You know, Reality Spirituality has grown. It's heard on iHeartRadio now, and also, let's see, iHeartRadio. I guess that's that's about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. And also on Reddit. So I want to say welcome to my iHeartRadio audience. And let me just start off by saying that the reason why I share every single week topics ranging from holidays, Valentine's Day, to car repairs, to health, to death, relationship issues, anything under the sun is because I made a commitment. I actually requested this. I wanted, when I was younger, I wanted to be happy. I wanted to live to my potential, and I wanted to be happy. I didn't know what that meant, but I knew what that felt like. I knew when I had that moments of feeling really good about myself and life. But those moments were fleeting. Those moments, life was a roller coaster. I would feel great one time, and then I would feel like crap. I would feel great, and then I would feel like crap. And I went on this, I want to be happy all the time. How can I feel good, happy all the time? And you know when you throw something out there, you know when you ask a question, whatever you ask, you will get an answer. I don't know how. Listen, I didn't know that the answer would take me decades of trial and error. I didn't know the answer would take me decades of learning the quote-unquote hard way. But being a happiness specialist, which is what I am, it requires me to walk it. It requires me to walk what I talk in every single moment. And while I was walking and bumping my head and finding things that worked and didn't work, there are specific behaviors, thoughts, actions that subtract from happiness. I got a whole list of them. And there are specific behaviors, thoughts, words. Let me throw words in the other column too. Words that add to happiness. So this happiness, there is a formula to it. It's just like a math formula. It's just like MC equal, what is it, MC equals E squared, whatever Einstein's formula is, the formula of relativity, there is a specific formula for being happy. And let me state this because there are a lot of people who don't like that word happy. It is impossible to be happy. When I say happy, I'm talking about maintaining a foundation, what I am rooted in, grounded in, peace, contentment, satisfaction. The energy, the vibrations are that of satisfaction in every single moment. Can you imagine being satisfied in every single moment? There's nothing that's wrong. There's nothing you need to do. There's nothing you should do. You are just filled with satisfaction. Now listen, I know you have those moments once in a while, but I'm talking about having that vibration, having that energy of satisfaction in every moment. And that is what I call happiness. Happiness is a practiced skill. It is a practiced skill like any other practice, any other skill that anyone from being a gardener to I'm looking out at trees right now, to being a gardener, to being a lumberjack, to a hunter, doctor, lawyer, speaker. It is a practiced skill. Waiter, cook, chef, a practiced skill. And so what I share every single week is what to practice. Simple. The concepts are simple. The commitment and the practice, well, that's another thing. But when you make a commitment and you want and desire over anything else, having a relationship, money, health, it doesn't matter, whatever the desire, the wants are, and when you make peace and contentment your number one priority, life changes. When you focus on peace, and that is the only thing that you are interested in and committed to, all of the other stuff just falls into place. You don't have to do anything but practice and commit to peace, happiness, contentment, the vibration of satisfaction, balance, relaxation. That's it. This topic, I remember talking about Valentine's Day last year. And I remember being out, I believe it was on Valentine's Day, and I remember being in a market and looking around, and I saw a lot of guys with bouquets in their arms and flowers in their arms and candles and you name it. These guys were hustling and bustling because they knew that they didn't acknowledge Valentine's Day, there would be a problem. And that's what I want to talk about, the obligation. Not only the obligation of Valentine's Day, but the programming of Valentine's Day. And I'm going to speak from experience, as I always do. I'm out there putting everything out in the world, judge me or not. This Valentine's Day celebration, I have to say I was hook, line, and sinker. It fed into all of my romantic ideas, ideals, expectations. It fell into all of that. And throw in there the story about Cinderella and Snow White, happily ever after, even the Wizard of Oz. Listen, people have told me, well, you live in Oz. Well, I was right there. I believed in Valentine's Day. Yes, Valentine's Day was one of my favorite all-time holidays. I remember as a little girl, I'm talking about grammar school, on Valentine's Day, there were cards. You would buy them in boxes. I don't know what they do now, but you buy them in boxes, and you gave out, when you're going to school, you gave out all your cards to all your little classmates. And me, the little boys that I liked, I made sure that they got a Valentine's Day card that said, I love you. That was my way of saying I love you without saying it. The best one with the most hearts, I love you, Valentine. Be my Valentine. I love you. Oh, geez, it was a scene. And every single year I looked forward to it. I looked forward to it. I gave out cards. I gave out Valentine. Some people I didn't give out. You're not getting a Valentine's Day card from me. And it all carried into having boyfriends, and they're acknowledging Valentine's Day, and I better get flowers, I better get candy, I better get something. And if you were my boyfriend, we were in a relationship. I mean, I'm doing air quotes here, a real relationship, you know, those relationships that are serious. Oh, man, you better, I'm talking to the guys now, you better bring home something on Valentine's Day, and I better be wowed. You better wow me. Wow. You better go overboard. The more extravagant, the better. Now, I've never had anybody fly me anywhere from Valentine's Day, but I digress. You know, but I sure did dream about it. I was so programmed. The program was so deep that if I didn't, or I wasn't in a relationship on Valentine's Day, I'm going to use the D word. There was mass depression. Oh, everybody has a Valentine, but moi. Oh, there's no Valentine. Oh, I'm alone. Oh, the shame of it all. All programmed thoughts, all programmed feeling. And when I talk about programming, listen, when you came out 6 months, a year, you didn't know anything about Valentine's Day. You didn't know that if you didn't get a Valentine's Day card or Valentine's Day gift, Valentine's Day trip, that it was going to be the end of the world. It is a programming, and that programming has, I can think of two major practices, major behaviors, major that subtract from happiness, subtract from peace. And that number one is obligation. Anytime you are feeling obligated, and I'm not talking about being obligated to help an elderly relative or someone elderly, and I'm not talking about obligation to raise children. I'm talking about adults, from whatever the age that is. I'm talking about grown people, people that are not children, people that are not elderly that need help. That underlining obligation, all obligation, every single obligation that you have or you have. I remember saying to one of my boyfriends at the time, who was, you're not romantic, you need to be more romantic. I remember saying, you ruined Valentine's Day for me. I remember saying that. You ruined Valentine's Day. for me. And I was dead serious. And then I was mad, and I was angry, and then I was resentful, and I was bitter. And boy, oh boy, don't think that my boyfriends, I had a husband, one of my husbands, and a husband wasn't obligated to show out on Valentine's Day. But the problem with that, and I'm talking to all the people that are in relationships now, whether you want to hear it or whether you believe it or not, if anybody feels obligated to do something for you, number one means it's not coming from their heart. Number two, that obligation wears out, wears thin over time. And this is how you know, I'm going to get a lot of emails on this one, this is how you know that your partner, whoever it is, feels obligated. What if, I know we don't do hypotheticals here, but what if, you like Valentine's Day, especially, and you like getting the gifts and you like getting attention and you like it. And what if your partner, relationship, whatever it is, your relationship, other, either had the clock wrong, didn't remember, was a busy day, slipped their mind, didn't even acknowledge Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day? My question to you is, how are you going to feel? How do you feel? Well, can your significant other say, Valentine's Day isn't important to me. Valentine's Day, I slipped my mind. Oh, it's Valentine's Day? I thought Valentine's Day was the 15th. That 15th is taxes. I thought Valentine's Day was on the 10th. I thought Valentine's Day. What if your significant other did not acknowledge, did not bring you gifts, did not acknowledge Valentine's Day? How would you feel? And if you say there's a speck of disappointment, there's even a grain of sand of, feeling bad, disappointment, that vibration, then I'm letting you know. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I don't know if it's going to be next year. But anytime you obligate someone that you claim to love, scratch that. Loving someone does not come with obligations. Loving someone has no strings attached. So when you love, and I'm talking about universal love, not this man-made ego love where love is a possession or love is things or love is you know what I'm talking about. There's a big difference. When you love somebody, when you love them in a universal way, which is unconditional, which means, here we go, put your seatbelts on this one because this is not a good one to get. This is not a good one to swallow. It takes a little bit of digestion. You might have to get some extra enzymes to digest this one. Love means I love you regardless of what you do, and I love you regardless of what you don't do. That's how the universe loves. So if you're loving somebody and there's strings attached, and there's obligations, then that other person better march in step, or else you're going to take your love away. You're not going to love them anymore. That's man-made. That's love that's man-made. That's love that comes from the ego. That's love that is not universal. The sun shines on the serial killer and the Pope. And quite frankly, the universe loves unconditionally. And so when you love like the universe loves, you are moving towards more peace, more you're moving towards, in other words, let me say this. When you align with what the universe does, when you align yourself and your behaviors to the universe as opposed to this man-made crap, you will love the way the universe loves. Hold on a second. We have a little technical difficulty. Hold on a second, audience. Hold on a second, audience. Let me see. Okay, there, I'm back. Okay. Where was I? Okay, so we're back to obligations. Now, I'm just saying, if your partner, your relationship, if you're going to give them any kind of grief because they forgot or didn't want to, know that you're loving with conditions, with strings attached. Now, the Valentine's Day programming not only starts early, but there's something about Valentine's Day that is a big spotlight, big glaring spotlight. And that is, what if you're alone? What if you're not in a relationship? What if you are by yourself, you're alone, there's no relationship, so I covered the relationships. And what if you are alone? How do you feel? Well, I remember feeling like crap. Oh, I don't have anybody. Nobody for Valentine's Day to celebrate. Oh, Valentine's Day. Oh, I'm alone on Valentine's Day. And like any other holiday that is a man-made holiday, like any other holiday, Valentine's Day is no different. Anything that is man-made, you already know that's a clue, that is going to eventually throw you right into the wall or a baseball bat to the back of the head. That's what happens with these man-made holidays, man-made concepts. Whenever you're following this journey that's man-made, know that there's going to be a time where you're just going to fall off the cliff. So if you're alone on Valentine's Day, what can you do, or what are some of the things that you can practice? And one of the things, I actually wrote this in my first book, Reality, Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, on a Valentine's Day. And if you're really needing something, you need a fix, then that is a perfect day, I say before the day, days after, to go out and do something and give to someone who has absolutely nothing. Talking about people that are maybe in assisted living homes or in hospice homes or group homes, or children that need, or donating. You can donate time. You can donate yourself, which is, the point is that when you take yourself out of this, oh, woe is me, which is a program, trust me, so it's not you, it's the programming that makes you feel bad about Valentine's Day. Because if you weren't programmed to feel bad about Valentine's Day, it would be just another day. But the solution is to go out and give and do something for someone else, or for some more than just one person. I don't care what it is. Be creative. Be creative. Even if you spent the whole day just walking around smiling at people, it might lock you up. No, even if you just be creative and find something to do to serve someone else, or some more than one person, or serve people. You know how to give. You know how to give. You know how to serve. You know how to do for someone else. So the focus comes off of you as an individual, and it opens your heart to give to other people. Because trust me, These other people are programmed just like I was, just like you were or are. Let me scratch that. I was and are, because there's still some programming that I'm taking off, discarding, leaving behind. But this Valentine's Day, I got to raise my left hand here. This Valentine's Day, thank goodness I'm over it, because I had more. Do you know? Let me. I had more Valentine's Days that I can remember that I was disappointed than I can remember that, wow, what a great Valentine's Day. Let me see. I can think of one really good Valentine's Day. But for the majority, this is how the ego works, focuses on what's wrong as opposed to what's right. Focuses on and tries to make me feel bad as opposed to feel good. So this Valentine's Day, I can point out, at least 3 or 4 that were just bust. They were horrible. Oh, my life. Oh, gee, what a day. And then you got a whole year to wait to be disappointed again. Holidays, man-made holidays, the obligations, all of it subtracts from your peace, subtracts from happiness. I hope I covered Valentine's Day. I hope I covered it enough. And my point is this. If you can't get out of your head and you're feeling bad or feeling depressed or whatever word you want to use, I don't use labels, so you know that vibration I'm talking about. Whenever you're feeling, just go out and do something for someone else. That's the answer. That's always the answer. Let me list for my new listeners, get your pen and pencil out, some of the things that subtract from happiness. One of them is thinking that there is something that you should do. All of the shoulds, I should do, all of that vibration, all of those behaviors subtract from happiness. Another thing that subtracts from happiness is all obligations, especially to an adult. I have an obligation. I'm telling you, those obligations, you put somebody that you claim to love and you obligate somebody that you claim to love. That includes your children, too. Sorry, includes your children, too, that you claim to love. What you're doing is you're putting distance. And the more you love with no strings attached, and the more you love open, and the more you love regardless of what they do and regardless of what they don't do, guess what happens? That love, that vibration comes right back at you tenfold, 100-fold. Trust me on that one. Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My website is RebeccaNorrington.com. That's RebeccaNorrington.com. Follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington. My Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. You can find me on YouTube, also Rebecca Norrington and or Reality Spirituality. My first book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon. My second book, someone asked me yesterday, when is that going to be out? This year? ? Program for Unhappiness will be out sometime this year. And Reality Spirituality is now heard on iHeartRadio, thanks to my dear friend Robert Sharp. And until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who you are. You're a physical extension of the universe. You're always evolving. You're always changing. You're always growing. Love is patient, and love is kind. Be patient, and be kind to yourself. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. And Valentine's Day, what am I saying? What is the bottom line here? The bottom line here is to celebrate every day as if it was Valentine's Day. The bottom line is to celebrate days. Celebrate moments. Celebrate when you're inspired to celebrate, as opposed to following. No, you know what? Scratch that, because you can follow the group, follow the herd, follow the masses, and do exactly what everybody else does on Valentine's Day too. I'm just talking about what's behind the scenes. And if there's obligation, and if there's expectation, I forgot to talk about expectation, and if there's expectations, get ready for a crash. Put your crash helmet on. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality. Have a conscious week, and chat with you again next week. Reality Spirituality. Thank you for listening.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's the new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man.